Welcome, I will be ranking tier 2 creatures from Heroes of Might and Magic 5.5 and it will be 70% based on how strong the unit is and 30% on how cool I think it is, so it will be pretty subjective. And yeah, the units have been, their stats and their abilities have been changed from the base game by the mod. They have some different abilities and stats. Let's start with the Gargoyle, Stone Gargoyle, which is... I'll first read the stats. It has 1 attack, 4 defense, 1 damage, 10 initiative, 6 speed, 20 life, and 14 weekly growth. It has no interesting abilities, like Enrage ability is basically useless for this creature because Enrage grants you more attack as friendly stacks die, but since the Gargoyle has only 1 damage, the attack increase basically does nothing. It's a very interesting unit. I actually like it, even though it hits like a wet noodle. It's very tanky and cheap, and it can be useful for blocking enemy archers and protecting your own archers and more valuable troops. So I am pretty... what the fuck? Why is the A tier above B tier? I mean below B tier. Alright, cancel. Can I... oh! No, it's fixed. So I put it B tier. Alright. Next up we have Elemental Gargoyle, which is all stats are improved for the Elemental Gargoyle. It has more damage, attack, defense, speed, initiative, so combat wise it is stronger. However, it has a pretty interesting ability in the sense that it is a double-edged sword. The ability is Aura of Lightning, Fire and Ice vulnerability. It makes the Gargoyle weaker to those spells and also makes units around the Gargoyle weaker to those spells, including friendly units. So it's might be kind of strategically used in combination with Magnetic Golems, so to increase their healing maybe. I haven't tried it in game, but on paper it sounds like an interesting tactic. And oh, a dog just snored in the background. I wonder if you will hear some background noises like that. The only reason why I'm hesitant to put it very highly, even though it's like upgraded in every conceivable way, is because it's like a double-edged sword. But I would say it's definitely better than Stone Gargoyle. Yeah. And the next up is Obsidian Gargoyle. It doesn't have as much defense or speed as the Elemental Gargoyle. It has 1 more attack though, and instead of vulnerability aura, it has like immunity to air, fire and water. I normally use this Gargoyle despite it being like somewhat weaker in combat, because I like how predictable it is as a unit. I guess it depends on your tastes. For me personally, I prefer to use them, but I guess like this could be really annoying maybe in multiplayer. I have no idea. I don't play multiplayer, so like in general my ranking is basically how much I like units. It could actually go to A tier maybe, but yeah. I'll be conservative for now. Everything is up for debate. Next up we have Dungeon. Let me scroll and find the stats. The first is Unupgraded Blood Maiden. Let's see. 4 attack, 2 defense, 5 to 7 damage, 14 initiative, 7 speed, 20 life and 6 weekly growth. So it has less than half of the weekly growth of Gargoyle, but its damage output is like significantly higher. And the abilities she has is strike and return and no enemy retaliation. And if I remember correctly, then it used to be that unupgraded Blood Maidens didn't have the no enemy retaliation. It's kind of a big deal that it has this ability now. And I would rank it quite highly. It's even though you are bound to lose them to archers and spellcasters, it usually will manage to deal some damage before it dies. And yeah, you really have to guard this unit so they don't all fall over and die. So the first upgrade is Blood Fury. In terms of abilities, it has one more ability, which is immunity to weakness. That's very situational. It has 7 more life, 1 more speed, 2 more initiative, a bigger damage range, more attack and more defense. It's all around upgrade of the Blood Maiden. It used to be able to like cross the battlefield in a single turn, but the battlefield size has been increased, so it's no longer possible unless you have like some abilities or artifacts that increase your speed. I would place them on A tier. And Blood Sisters are very similar. Instead of immunity to weakness, they're 25% magic proof. They have 3 more life and overall better stats, I would say, except for initiative and speed. And I normally prefer them because they're a little bit tankier than the squishy Blood Furies. So I would place them on A or even S tier. So they are above Blood Furies and Blood Sisters, but we shall see if they can manage to find their way to S tier. You know, I'm feeling generous, let's put them in S tier. Next up we have the Fortress, the faction I almost never play. Let me find where are the stats. Alright, so stats we have 4 attack, 4 defense, 1 to 2 damage, 9 initiative, 4 speed, 12 life, 14 weekly growth and 4 ammunition. Its abilities, only interesting one is Crippling Wound, which make it so that if you are lucky, then the creature will decrease the target's speed and initiative. It's very useful when it triggers. Very nice ability. And I mean, not much to say about them. I like them. Not visually, like the icon isn't very hot or just a bald guy. But like, for example, if you encounter this as a neutral monster, you don't really fear them. They're one of the creatures that's easiest to deal with as an archer. Maybe I place them here, B tier. The Crippling Wound ability is pretty good. I will rank them like this. Above Elemental Gargoyle, they are very reliable, like simple unit, but very slow. The gargoyles deal 0 damage, but they're like this has strategic advantage of being like very tanky and being able to block enemies. Now the upgrade, let's go like this first with the red upgrade of the dwarf. is Skirmisher, and it has the same crippling wound ability, and it also has no melee penalty, so usually archers do less damage if they engage in melee, but the Skirmisher deals the same amount of damage. It has better stats. Yeah, overall, all stats have been improved. Simple upgrade. I will rate it lower than the Gargoyle because I don't like dwarves. No, maybe like this. Yeah, that's more reasonable, like middle A tier. And the next one is Harpooner. It has less life, but it has bigger damage output, which is very important for archers, I believe. And instead of the crippling wood ability, it has the Harpoon Strike and armored ability. The Harpoon Strike ability is activated ability, so it won't trigger on every attack. It hasn't, like, you have to select the ability to like trigger it. And the Harpoon Strike will bring the enemy creature one tile closer to the shooter, which, I mean, there are very few cases where you actually want to use that ability. Maybe you can like drag the enemy creature in a fire trap or something. And the armored ability means that this creature is immune to spells and effects that decrease defense. I actually like to prefer to use this Harpooner over Skirmisher usually, even though like the abilities of the Harpooner I think are worse than the Skirmisher, because crippling wound and no melee penalty are pretty good abilities, but the bigger damage output. However, it has like less initiative, so maybe, yeah, I think Skirmisher is a little bit better. I prefer to use this guy, Harpooner, because the icon is like better looking. Yeah, so we can give him coolness points, so he's, yeah, like this is theoretically stronger, but this is cooler, so that's how it goes. Next we have Haven. This is mixed up. Let's start with the archer. Very nice unit. Let me find the stats. So it has 4 attack, 3 defense, 2 to 4 damage, 9 initiative, 4 speed, 10 HP and 12 weekly growth. It has one interesting ability, which is Scatter Shot, which allows you to like shoot in an area of effect 3 times 3 tiles, and but that ability deals half as much damage to each target. So it's only is useful if one of the targets has like really low life or stack size, or if there's more than 2 stacks. Let me look back at the dwarf shooter unit, skirmisher and stuff. Yeah, it seems like skirmisher deals half as much damage. No, I mean Spear Wielder, the unupgraded one. So it is like really good damage output, and the ability is not as useful in most situations, but it's pretty nice. I would rank it like this A tier. The icon is just beautiful. I really like them. I think in a base game they used to have more initiative than the upgrades, and yeah, I would like to be able to like play maybe an upgrade for the archer that wouldn't be with a crossbow but with a bow, because it's just such a cool looking unit and a cool icon. I like to kill monsters with bows and stuff. So yeah, A tier at least. If we rank by coolness points, it would be like top A tier. So it upgrades to, let me see, Marksman or Crossbowman, which is the first one. I always mix them up. Unless, oh, why am I scrolling away from the stats? They're right here. I have the stats of the units on my other screen. So this guy is Marksman. It has maximum damage output that is twice as high as that of the archer. It has more life and more defense. And it has the same scattershot ability. And let me quickly go over all the unit stats that are... Yeah, it seems that Crossbowman has the highest damage output of all tier 2 units. It is absolutely insane, especially if you combine it with, I believe, Divine Strength spell, which like raises your minimum damage towards your maximum damage. And they're absolute beasts in terms of damage output. Top of S tier. Easily. And Crossbowman is similar, I would say. There are cases where it can deal even more damage than a Marksman. Speaking of the Marksman, yeah, its only weakness I would say is, like most shooters, it is like super squishy. And it's also pretty slow. But Crossbowman is even slower, however it has like this ability which allows it to ignore enemy defense completely, as I understand from the ability description. And this ability like is in effect only if the enemy unit is like 5 tiles or like no further away than 5 tiles. The icon is much cooler than of the Marksman, but I usually use Marksman. But I think they're pretty similar. The big minus is that it has like 1 less initiative. But yeah, the icon is much cooler, and since I'm also rating coolness, I will put it above the Marksman. Yes, very objective and smart ranking system I have here. Next we have Inferno, and this is probably one of the worst units, at least I used to think so, which is Hornet Demon. It has like some stuff to make up for it, which is that it's... Actually it isn't that tanky. 16 health, 5 speed, 9 initiative, 1 to 3 damage, 1 attack, 3 defense. So it deals no damage, it is slow, and it isn't the tankiest one we have seen so far. I think Stone Gargoyle is tankier. Yeah, Stone Gargoyle is tankier and faster. And I think also has more growth? No, almost as much growth. Yes, only positive thing is that it's cheap. D tier. Like, I think this unit is one of the reasons why Inferno is so difficult in the early days. You have imps, demons and firehounds, and I mean, yeah, it's a funny unit how bad it is. It looks somewhat cool, I guess. So let's go like this, the regular upgrade first. The regular upgrade is called Horn Overseer. It has 2 attack, 3 defense, 2 to 3 damage, 10 initiative, 5 speed, 19 health. And it has 1 more ability, which is that it can cast ability is called Explosion, and the Explosion ability triggers a fireball around the unit. And I think it can be pretty strong, the fireball, actually. So it is based on stacks spell power times 40. And the problem is that I don't know how much spell power normally you can get. If you look like at the user manual, which is for the base game, then like a stack of 6, no, let's take a stack of 1. Stack of 1 Hornet Overseer has 1 spell power, and stack of 6 has 2 spell power. So 1 Overseer would deal 40 damage, which is insane. It's very useful in low numbers, I would say. Like, however, yeah, in order to like cast this fireball, you have to get close to the enemy and survive until then. And since they are somewhat slow, it can be difficult to achieve. But yeah, they're somewhat tanky. Not the tankiest, but somewhat, like, at least tankier than a marksman. But once they reach the marksman will already have shot them down. Yeah, the explosion ability kinda is interesting, but yeah, C tier maybe. Let's put it at C tier. And then this Hornet Grant. Let me see the stats. 3 attack, 2 defense, 1 to 4 damage, 9 initiative, 4 speed, 18 health. Complete garbage. One ability it has is leap, and it seems that I haven't saved the image with the ability, but I remember that it was like allows it to jump 8 tiles, and unfortunately up to 8 tiles far, but unfortunately you can't increase this distance by increasing the unit's speed with artifacts and stuff like that. So, and it also has the downside: when you like land to the enemy unit and attack it, you deal more damage, but the enemy retaliates with more damage as well. So I guess it has a better means of closing the distance to the enemy, and that's all it has. In that sense it could be ranked better, but I mean, also garbage. Then we have our lovely zombies. Are these the tankiest? No, I think still the Gargoyle is the tankiest. They have 20 life and 2 defense, and Gargoyle had 4 defense. Yeah, yeah, Gargoyle really is good. Maybe I should even like raise all the Gargoyle ranking. So zombie has also 1 attack, 2 defense, 1 to 3 damage, 7 initiative, and 5 speed. I think that's the lowest initiative we have seen so far. Yeah. It has no interesting abilities. Could it be worse than a Horn Demon? Horn Demon? 16. It is tankier, right? It has less defense but more life. Nah, I think it's worse actually. The thing is, you don't really notice that it's worse because they're just meat to die, and that's normal for Necropolis. You can just resurrect them, or you can like have some passive abilities to resurrect them without even casting spells and wasting mana. That's sad. I actually like zombies. Wow, they're actually worse than... Yeah, but you don't really feel it since Necropolis is so strong anyways. The first upgrade is Plague Zombie, which has 3 attack, 2 defense, 2 to 3 damage, 8 initiative, 5 speed, 22 life. It is like... oh, I'm not ranking it yet. Let me check the abilities. Yeah, Weakening Strike ability is what it has. and it decreases enemy offense and defense by 2 units every time it attacks. However, since it's so slow, it will take like entire battle to like kick into like any significant effect. It's sort of like a unit that in long battles remains the last one because it's not a high priority target. So it's only dangerous if you have like a ton of them. I like the art though, and I mean actually I think it might be better than Overseers and stuff like that because they're cooler. If we rank them by power, they would be D tier as well, or low C tier. But gives it some coolness point, like C tier. Top of C tier. If we were ranking by power, it would be like bottom C tier or top D tier. And Rod Zombie is the alternative upgrade. It has 2 attack, 3 defense, 3 damage, 8 initiative for speed, 25 life. So it is tankier, which sort of makes sense since it is like cannon fodder. And instead of the weakening strike, it has festering ore ability, which makes the neighboring stacks that are living have less attack and defense and morale. So it's useful also as a 1 stack, and it is like a more utility unit, more tanky, and overall I think it's more useful than a Plague Zombie, even though Plague Zombie is much more sexy and has a much more pretty icon. But yeah, I will rank them. Wait, didn't I mean to put this in top C tier? Yeah, I did. Let's put them in the middle of the grants, like that. And Rod Zombie is, I would say, bottom B tier or top C tier. Top C tier. And I think you might be noticing a pattern that in general tier 2 creatures are pretty weak compared to other tiers. There are a lot of factions for which the tier 2 unit is the one you don't necessarily need in your army composition because they're so crappy. And you might not see it yet, like it looks pretty even, like all tiers have some creatures, but I'm a very generous rater. I like to put all creatures very high up because they all are cool, but for tier 2 creatures it's like no matter how cool they are, I simply cannot put Overseers in here. Although, why not? It looks so nice, it fits the color scheme. Okay, let's move on to Stronghold, the best faction in the game. And Centaurs. 3 attack, 1 defense, 2 to 4 damage, 10 initiative, 5 speed, 12 life, and 14 weekly growth. Only interesting ability is maneuver, which is when they are targeted by melee damage, the Centaur will run away from the attacker and attack it with retaliate with the ranged attack, dealing half damage. I don't. Oh the dog is drinking water in the background. Not very useful ability, I think. Well, it's useful in cases when the Centaur has more initiative, so it can manage to like sneak in a shot before the attacker continues to engage in melee. So the thing it has over the archer is that it is faster. But it deals less damage? No, it actually deals the same amount of damage, or even more, let me see. Wait a minute. Ah, it actually is all around better than the archer in terms of damage output. What about life? It has even more life? Wait a minute. Only thing it's worse at is defense, so it's a glass cannon. I placed it here like while I was thinking or talking. So it's actually much better than archer, even though the icon looks horrible. And it is faster than all these archers, if I'm not mistaken. Interesting. Only spear, so I mean skirmisher is like just as fast. The harpooner isn't as fast. 10 initiative is pretty good. Yeah, it's bottom 8 tier. Let's put Blood Maiden maybe a bit higher. No, she's fine there. Yeah, let's leave it like that. What's next is a Centaur Marauder. And it is 4 attack, 4 defense, 3 to 5 damage, 10 initiative, 6 speed, 14 life. A little bit better stats. And it has no melee penalty ability instead of maneuver. It's a very good unit. I'll put it bottom S tier. Above the Blood Sister, actually. Yeah. Very good unit. And Centaur Nomad is the same but squishier and faster and with more damage output. I usually prefer Centaur Marauders, even though it's very nice to have initiative for shooters, because the Marauders are a little bit tankier. I mean, yeah, technically, if it would be fair, it would be higher than the Marauder, I think. And the Blood Rage abilities grant them, according to the in-game description, 6 attack at tier 1, 2 initiative at tier 2, and max damage output at tier 3. Still not as much damage as the marksman and crossbowman, but it's pretty decent. Am I satisfied with this ranking? I think so. Okay, let's move on to Sylvans, the elves, and the blade dancer. Now, all these units I really love in terms of their aesthetics, but they are like worse versions of like the dungeon tier 2 creatures. The first one is Blade Dancer. It's 3 attack, 3 defense, 2 to 5 damage, 11 initiative, 6 speed, 16 life, and 9 weekly growth. It has absolutely 0 abilities besides being living. I mean, it has better stats than the D tiers, but it's still shit. Oh, it feels so rude to say. It's a nice, beautiful little elf, but it's still D tier. Now we have the War Dancer upgrade. It has double the attack, 4 defense, 3 to 6 damage, 13 initiative, 7 speed, 18 life, and 9 weekly growth. And it has a pretty interesting ability, which is War Dance Combo, which allows it to attack all the tiles around it, and the main target will receive full damage and others will receive half damage. So effectively, in best case scenario, if it was like completely surrounded, it would deal like, let me think, 7 times half, 3.5, 4.5 times more damage, yeah, than normal. Yeah, the potential damage output is really good, but it's easy to lose these war dancers, and I mean, they can like get 1 or 2 hits in and then die. That's the thing. But they're really cool, I like them. And for that coolness, I will rank them maybe top of C tier. I'm being very generous, I think. Technically, Rod Zombie is more useful because of its utility. But yeah, let's put them here. And next is Wind Dancer, which is, I mean, there's 5 attack, 5 defense, 46 damage, 13 initiative, 6 speed, 20 life. It's a little bit tankier and less damage. Actually, it deals more damage, but it has less attack. And it has the ability Agility, which grants it 2 defense bonus for every tile it walks. So maximum it can get like 6 times 12 defense bonus, which would be like maybe around like 30% less damage taken. Don't quote me on that. Something like that. But still, I don't think it's warrants anything. Like all these units above C tier have some sort of utility. Only unit with utility below B tier is the Rot Zombie. But this, some extra defense isn't really useful. So also C tier. I'll rank it lower than Rot Zombie. That's it for the tier list. So thank you for watching and have a nice day. You know, after finishing recording the video, I looked at the stats again, and I thought that I'm being actually quite unreasonable by ranking the dungeon Blood Sisters and Blood Furies so low, because they have like the same damage output, even a little bit higher than Marksman and Crossbowmen, and they have almost double the initiative, more speed and more life. So I would say they both deserve top spots. I'll rank the Blood Fury a little lower than Crossbowman because she doesn't look... Her icon sucks. Also, I noticed that actually the ability, the leap for the grunts actually can increase their damage output by up to 80%, but it still doesn't like put them like anywhere near the top contenders. I think this might be better. Also like this, and like this, and like this. No, like this. Okay, now I'm done.